Welcome to another episode of the On the Pitch podcast with Bridger Pretz. This is brought to you by Daily Culture Kombucha, LP Digital, CrooksImage.com, and Gray Bridge Woodworks. Make sure to give them a follow on all the links below. If you have a moment, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel for new episodes coming out every week. Now, let's get to the podcast. Hello, and welcome to the On the Pitch podcast with your host, Bridger Pretz, and my guest, Don Trentham. Don, how you doing, man?
Doing great, Bridger. Thanks for having me on today.
Yeah, so glad that we were able to keep in touch and we were able to get this thing planned. I know I've been kind of trying to reach you the last couple of months, really, but you were so busy with your season, and then now we finally have a little bit of opening. I'm so glad you had the time to meet with me. So for the people who don't know you, where do you coach? And tell us a little bit about your soccer career.
Yeah, that's great. So currently the head coach here at Stevens College, NAIA program here in Columbia, Missouri. Yeah, I grew up in Texas, moved to Missouri in high school. We'll throw it way back, Francis Howell High School there.
Okay, nice.
St. Charles, Missouri. And, I played for Scott Gallagher Club there. Out of high school, I went my first year down to Southwest Missouri State at the time and played a year down there, and then transferred to Columbia College here in Columbia. Okay. And had a great experience there, and played for a great coach, Dan Hogan, the late Dan Hogan, and just incredible memories at Columbia College. And as a player, I don't want to give them too much clout here because they are a rival in the conference now. Yeah. But I had a great experience there as a player, and out of Columbia, got into coaching, and I've been doing this at college level close to 30 years now.
Wow. Where was your first ever coaching gig?
I coached a men's team as an assistant down at Embry-Riddle University down in Daytona Beach, Florida. Not a bad place to start your coaching career as right out of college. And did that for 2 years, and that's where I got my start. Dave Gregson, who's still the head coach down there at Embry-Riddle University.
Wow. How long has he been doing that?
I think Dave's been there close to 30 years.
Wow.
Great first coach to work for. We had a lot of fun together. I learned a lot from him. Great tactician of the game, and was a great first person to work for sure. Nice.
Do you still use some of the things that he taught you today?
That was 30 years ago. I think yeah, I do actually. Dave was a great mentor, and I thought Dave was a guy that probably one of the best tacticians, and just the way he communicated the tactics to his team and coached. And, it was 30 years ago, but there's still a lot of the relevant things that I learned from Dave.
Yeah. So kind of take us through, like you said, that was 30 years ago. Kind of take us through your journey so far. Where all have you gone? We talked a little bit off air about some really cool places that you've been. So kind of take us through a little bit of your journey that led you to where you are now.
Yeah, it's been, the college coaching journey. Some coaches are very fortunate they get to stay at one place for a long time. My journey's been a little bit different, where I've been at several schools, but that's been great too, because I've lived in so many different parts of the country. I think I've coached in pretty much close to every state in this country. I've seen lots of different schools, between coaching in the SEC, coaching in the Pac-12, coaching in the Big 12, coaching in NAIA, coaching at Division II. So it's been great. From Florida, I went up to Pennsylvania and got to coach a D2 women's program. That was my first women's job as a grad assistant, and it's where I met my wife at East Stroudsburg University. And we, from there, we actually went to Montana, where it was my first head coaching job. A school called Montana State Billings, a Division II school out in the Northwest. Was there for 9 years, helped build that program, I'd say from the ground up, and achieved some success there at the end, and then made a jump to the Division I world, where I went as an assistant at University of Wyoming. Was only there for 9 months.
Oh, wow.
We had a great first season that I was there. I kind of was right place, right time. And then the head coach there, Danny Sanchez, got the head job at University of Colorado and took staff with them. So I was in Boulder for 3 years and Pac-12, and great experience. Made a Sweet 16 appearance there. Played Florida State in the Sweet 16, and just had a being in the Pac-12 and recruiting at that level was great. And fortunate, Coach Blitz, Brian Blitz here at University of Missouri, reached out to me, and I reached out to him. And I played here in Columbia. I'm a St. Louis guy, so an opportunity to come back and coach at University of Missouri for 6 seasons was awesome. It was a great experience. And after Coach Blitz retired, went over to Kansas State for a few years and did that. And, honestly, I was thinking about getting out of college coaching and maybe even coaching in general. I was kind of at that point. I'd done it for 25 seasons.
Yeah.
Got a call to go to Europe and coach a Bundesliga 2 team over in Europe in Austria.
Yeah.
I didn't think my wife would go for it, and she said, "Let's go. Let's do it."
That's awesome.
So she's always been a great supporter. I think being a coach's wife is always hard. Pushed me to go over there, get out of my comfort zone a little bit, and went to Austria where they speak German. Fortunately, I was able to bring a lot of American players over there with me.
Good. There you go.
8 players. And what an experience. It just kind of rejuvenated me. It's a different level, different. It's not the college game. You had limited substitutions and just training at that environment, and players that were kind of their first pro experience. It was great, and it rejuvenated me. Came back home, still kind of looking for where I was going to land, and ended up going over with John Klein there to Columbia College back home, and got to, again, being at the right place at the right time.
Yep.
We went to a Final Four that year on the women's side, and John did amazing things with that program, and all the time he was there, I got to be a part of it. And now here I am at Stevens, which I'm so excited to be here. This is a great opportunity, a great college, has some great leadership with our athletic director, Betty Lobos, and then our new president here, Shannon Lundeen, Dr. Lundeen. Some big things ahead for Stevens College.
Yeah. And so a lot of people who maybe don't know the area or maybe don't know what Stevens is, it is an all-girls college. And I'm sure that has, a lot of struggles in itself. A lot of times when it maybe comes recruiting, because, all girls schools tend to maybe not be the most popular. So what are some of the struggles that maybe you have to go through when it comes to recruiting teams or girls for Stevens? And then maybe what are some things that make it easy as well?
Yeah. Honestly, I haven't seen the struggle. I've seen, a school that empowers women and develops leaders, and in a campus in a college town that has 35,000 college students in it. So while we might be an all women's college, we are a college that, again, I think does a lot of great things for women, but we're also in a town that there's definitely, plenty of males and females here in town. So I always kind of talk about how, we're kind of like that sorority in Columbia that's right next to the University of Missouri campus that's doing amazing things. Our women in the classroom are doing amazing things. They're doing amazing things on the field and on the court. And I think when people find out about it, I haven't had an issue with it, to be honest. I think Columbia is a great college town, and we're an all women's school. And maybe I'm just not hearing from the people that would have an issue from it.
Right. I think there is probably, people in the past that have kind of always kind of talked that up. And I think that kind of hurts the program too, when other people are talking down because maybe they weren't successful. So they blame, it's because it's an all girls school, or they blame it because of this, instead of embracing it, like kind of like how you have, it seems like, you seem to really, really embrace it. And I think that's awesome because, Stevens really hasn't had a lot of success in the past. Like we were talking off air, you said their best ever season was 7 wins, and your first year here, you get 6. So kind of talk us through the season. Did you do better than you expected? Did you do worse than you expected? Kind of let's talk through that.
Well, I always expect to go undefeated start of every season. You're a coach,
Love that,
right? So,
love that. Yes.
So I'll say I did worse than expected, but no, I think what I always talk about when I came here, because I just started my second year a couple days ago, and I'm really proud to be here at Stevens College and what this college represents in the college community that it's in. But I inherited a great group of young women when I got here. They hadn't had a bunch of success the year before, only won 2 games, but they welcomed me. I think anytime you take over a program, it's a challenge because it's a change. It's a change for a coach. It's a change for the players. But we work together, and we're a family here, and they welcomed me and worked hard, and it wasn't easy. And I always give those players a ton of credit that stuck with it through the change. And they're a big part of why we went from 2 wins to 6 wins in a year. And things are on the up here at Stevens College. And again, I just credit that first group when I talked to them at the beginning of February in 2025. You have a decision there. You can leave, you can complain, or you can put your head down and work and try and get better. And that's what they did. And every day I come in here, I feel like I represent Stevens College, number one, but I represent this athletic department and the soccer program. And I work hard every single day to do my best, and the players do the same.
Good. So just kind of keeping with the schedule here, we looked over how you guys went this season. You beat St. Louis School of Pharmacy, you said 5-4 the week before, and then you had to play them again in the tournament, and it didn't go your way. Let's kind of talk about how, what went wrong, maybe what went right, or really just kind of let's talk about that game and what it meant for your program to just make the tournament for one, but also, the game that happened.
Yeah, so one of the challenges we did have in that first year is we only had 19 players on the roster. I came in February and got a late start on recruiting. We were able to get quite a few players in, but when you're doing last minute recruiting, it's challenging. And one of the things that I am proud of before we get into the UHSP game is we had the freshman of the year in the conference here, and we had 3 first-team all-conference players. They'd never had a all-freshman player. Prior to this year, they'd only had 2 first-team all-conference players ever.
Wow.
We had 3 this year, and then we had 2 second-team players. So we had a total of 5 all-conference players. So that certainly helped us, but 19 players.
Yes.
We were thin. And going into that last game, I think we had 1 sub, maybe 2. I think somebody was kind of injured. We had 1 sub in that game. I'm not a coach that makes excuses. That's who we were and where we were at. And I think we maybe ran out of some juice, though, at the end of the season. Again, I asked our team to maybe do some things physically and mentally that they hadn't been asked to do in the past, and challenged them in new ways. And a college soccer season, whether you have a bunch of upperclassmen or it's a grind.
Yeah.
It's physical and mental grind. It's a fun one. It'll wear you down. And I think we were tired at the end. And that's not an excuse. That's just being real. And, again, UHSP on the day they beat us, and they were the better team and deserved to win that game. But the week before, gosh, we probably played one of our, between them and Hannibal LaGrange that week, we had 2 really, really good games.
Yeah.
We were going to potentially finish 4th in the conference, which would have gave us the first home postseason game ever in the history of the program.
Yeah.
Beat UHSP 5-4 and a typical Missouri October 35, 40-degree rain game.
Oh, yeah.
Back and forth, slugfest. that we scored. They had equalized with 10 minutes ago. We scored and a minute later to make it 5-4 and hung on.
Yeah.
I think they were pretty motivated to beat us. They were at home.
Yeah.
And, we'll look forward to playing them again next year. So
There
they
you
did
go.
a good job on the day, but overall, great season for us to get to where we got to.
Absolutely. And you can go ahead and name drop if you got freshman of the year, if you want to name drop her, like maybe give us some of her stats.
Yeah, we had a player, Mariah Carnahan, who had a great season for us, first team all conference, player from Kansas City, got freshman of the year, and I think she scored 13, 14 goals. So she certainly had a big freshman season, and excited for her. She's to be honest, she's kind of moving on to something else at this point, and we're really happy and excited for her. But certainly had a great freshman season in the fall.
Yeah. And so, with hearing of everything going on right now with, like transfer portals and things like that with college, a lot of times you don't know if you're going to be able to get a girl for 3-4 years, maybe 1 year, 2 year. Kids are always going in and out. So you're always having to recruit. You're always having to, rebuild your team every year with girls going out, girls coming in, things like that. So whenever you're looking for, players, where do you like to get most of your players? And then what are you really looking for in a player?
Yeah, I think what I look for first and foremost is the person. I want good people in my program. I think anytime you have a family, which a lot of soccer programs are, and an extended family, you want good people in your family, and I get to pick who comes into my family. So I do certainly look for good people.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to be a good player too.
Yes,
I'm
yes,
a nice guy, but I don't just want a bunch of nice people. I want nice people that are also good players. And and what it comes down to for me, probably the biggest thing is I want people that will compete. I want competitors. I want everybody always asks, that's the big thing. What do you look for? I'm looking for the competitor out on the field. I'm looking for the player when they're losing 3-0, they're still out there fighting. They're still challenging. They're still motivating their team. They're still trying to find a way to win. So I want competitors. Obviously I want athletes. I think that's a big part of what I look for is athlete. However, that being said, you need to be technical and you need to be tactical. You got to be able to play, and you got to understand the game. So sum it all up, that competitiveness, the technical, the tactical part, the athletic part, you got to have a wow factor to you. Like, I need to walk up to a field and say, wow, that player can play for me. For me. And there's some players that maybe aren't as athletic as other players, but they are really good on the ball, or they just have this understanding of the game that can unlock teams in attack, or they're a leader and they organize the team defensively. That can wow a coach just as well.
Yeah.
But you got to compete. You got to compete.
Yeah. As a coach who has been a part of a lot of beatings as a head coach, my first year there, I only won 3 games when I was at Fulton High School. And then I got the head coaching job in Moberly, and I only won 4 games. So in the span of a whole entire year, I won 7 games. But I will say, like, if I was down 6-0, 7-0, if I notice that a girl is still going, like they're still going for challenges, they're still trying to win the game, still trying to score, I'm going to keep that girl on than the one that gives up on me. Or same thing with a boy player. Like if they got bad energy, they've got, they're what's the word I'm looking for? They don't look like they even want to be there anymore. Their body language is terrible. I'd rather play a kiddo who's on the bench who wants to be out there, who's going to keep working, than somebody who's not going to try hard, who maybe has more talent.
And that's where you talk about the good people, right? And I think body language, the word we use a lot, energy vampires. Like suck the life out of the team, and they're just pessimistic and just and it's natural. People are negative sometimes, but you can decide which way you want to go with that. Do you want to have a poor attitude? Do you want to suck the energy out of your team, or do you want to be the player and the teammate that's uplifting, that's working hard, that's trying to make a difference? And And yeah, there's nothing worse than a bad body language or an energy vampire on
I'm
your
gonna steal that. I'm gonna steal energy vampire. I've never heard that before.
energy bus. I'll give a shout out to the energy bus. Maybe they'll sponsor me at some point. But yeah,
Hey, they can sponsor me too. I'll take it.
it's a book called The Energy Bus.
Okay.
I encourage a lot of, if you're a player out there or coaches, I think that's a great book that I've read.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's great for players to read, and I've used it with teams in the past. And
Yeah.
there's some great stuff in that book. If you're looking for something for your team, for a quick and easy book read that can maybe make a difference in your team culture.
Yeah, so the coach here where I'm currently at, he actually got all the seniors a book, and I think he got like Atomic Habits or something like that, like some of those like mindset motivational books. So I'll have to make sure I make a note of that. Energy Bus. That could potentially be one that we give them for next year for sure.
Awesome.
So we talked about kind of like what kind of player you want. When you're recruiting, where are you going? Are you going to high school games? Are you going to club, ECNL? Where do you like to get most of your players? And do you stick with mainly, Missouri, Illinois, Kansas? Kind of where do you really like to look for your players? And also, like, do you look for internationals? Since you had your time in Austria, you had a chance to work with Europeans. Let us kind of know, where do you go and look for your players?
Yeah, it's I think you always start from within.
Mhm.
We're a college here in mid Missouri and Columbia, so we're always going to start in mid Missouri, and we're going to look at players in mid Missouri, and then we're going to branch out to St. Louis, Kansas City, and the rest of Missouri from there, and then the region, and then from there after the region, our do we look across the whole country? Sure, we do. I mean, there's players, but I think the big thing after we get out of Missouri and kind of the Midwest region here is, yeah, we look internationally.
Mhm.
You look at our roster, we have players from South America on there. We got player from Germany in there, and we'll have another South American next year. We'll have some players from over in Europe as well. I think for me personally, I never get into how others recruit or what they do or how they go about it. I think every coach has a plan for how they recruit, and that fits what their needs are for their program. For me, I kind of want that mix of players from the United States, and then I want to mix in some players from some different countries because I remember back at Columbia College, we had some players from Europe that I had the fortune of playing with, and I just added so much to our culture and
Mhm.
just different styles, and just added to the atmosphere. And I think that's great for a team to have
Mhm.
players from all over the world playing, and that's something that happens a lot in the NAIA, and I think it's a healthy mix.
Yeah.
Uh, for me to kind of mix some internationals with some players from the states.
Yeah, I mean, like we were talking off the air. I played at William Woods University. We had a lot of internationals, but even when I played 2 years at JUCO before there. We had some internationals, and it didn't hurt the program. It honestly, it helped a lot of the Americans kind of see the way that they do things there, because they do have, like you said, the culture is way different there. It's the number one sport. It is a lifestyle in Europe and South America, and even now in Asia. I mean, it's the biggest sport in the world for a reason, and the way they do things, the way they train, the way their mentality, the things that they see it a lot quicker than us, and in some some aspects, there's some American players that are at that level sometimes, but it's a lot more prevalent in Europe and South America that they're at a higher level when they're coming over. I wanted to kind of talk to you and ask you quick about, what are the things that maybe Europeans do a lot better than maybe American players, but also what is something that American players have that maybe European or South American players don't have?
Yeah, I'm going to talk from the women's side because
Yeah.
that's what I've coached the majority of my career, and that's what I coached when I went over to Europe.
Yeah.
I think what I found over there, that the tactical understanding and maybe the technical ability as a whole was better over there than
Hmm.
maybe. That's not to say that we don't have it over here. I don't want
Yeah.
everybody
Yeah,
sending
no.
emails here saying, hey, you said we're not tactically and technically good here, because we are. And,
Yes.
and what I always say on the women's side, we're one of the best in the world, if not the best in the world. We've proven that over time with the amount of World Cups and Olympic gold medals that we won. And our U.S. women's national team with Emma is doing fantastic things right now. So, but I thought technically and tactically just a little bit different over there. What do we have better over there? I just think our overall, the way how physical we play, the speed of the game, the athleticism of the game. I think that is a big change when Europeans come over here on the women's side, is catching up with that speed that we play at in the college game. Because when you talk to players over in Europe, what they don't understand, you're like, hey, we can sub you in the first half. We can sub you out. Then you can come back in the second half.
Yeah.
We can take you out. Then you can come back in again. And I'm like, what? Because in Europe, you got 5 subs over there.
Yeah.
You got 3 moments to make those subs. So the game is generally going to be slower.
Yeah.
Because players were here, you can, and it's unlimited how many players you can play. So the game here is just at the college level is just so fast and furious compared to what it is over in Europe.
Yeah. And you spent your time in Austria. How long did you say that you were there again?
So I was basically went over there for the second half of the season for it was a little over 3 months.
Yeah.
In there, yeah.
Yeah.
Started working in January and putting the team together with the sporting director, and which was an American as well, Chris Sidney. He did a really good job. It was great to work with. We were able to put a nice team together, and Chris, as the sporting director, did most of that work, and then got to coach basically 13 games.
Wow. Now, were you the head coach, assistant coach, or
head coach? Yeah.
Head coach. And then, so kind of just piggybacking on that, keeping that going. What was it like, when you compare the standard of college women's soccer to Division II in the Bundesliga there in Austria? Was there a little bit of similarities in the level or way they played, or how different was it?
Well, I think all the Austrian, and I was in Bundesliga too, so I'd say the top 3 or 4 teams in that league were very good. But like any league, it's any league, there's always got to be a bottom. But after you got past those 3 or 4 teams, it definitely dropped in terms of standard. People always ask me that, what kind of team did I have? I had players from SEC. I had a player from UCLA. I mean, we had a really good team. We went 11-1-1 and missed promotion by a point, and which was we could talk about that too here in a minute. Was a great experience of coaching. But it's again, where I was going with that part is, I was over there for 13 games, and it was a great experience of it.
Yeah. So let's keep that rolling. So take us through that season. You go 11-1-1. Holy cow. Let's keep that going. Talk to us about that season.
Yeah. I know where I was going, where I finished my train of thought from the last thing. I thought the team that I had was and we were top 2 in the league, was probably a second round NCAA Division I team. That's kind of where I kind of put us. So we go over there. We start the season. It's the second half of the season. We're in 4th place at the time, and go over there. We fly over on February 26th as a group of myself and these 8 Americans go over there. Our first game was on February 28th. We had one practice together, essentially. Jet lagged, and we got to play the number 1 team in the league, who's LASK, who their men's program has played. They've they played in the European League, and it's a good Austrian club on the men's side and women's. We go up 1-0, hit the post to go up 2-0. Somehow we managed to tie the game 1-1 and get a point out of that game and keep ourselves a chance to win the league. You know, if we lost that game, we're not catching them.
Yeah.
Go through the rest of the league, have a ton of success. We get to play Lask again, the second to last week of the league.
Gotcha.
It's for everything.
Really?
You know, and we're rolling at this point. The first game, it was 1-1. It was a fair result, but could have gone either way. They bring because the Austrians did not want a bunch of players with quite a few Americans. My perception, they did not want us to win the league.
Yeah.
They bring out, we probably had 1,200 fans. I'd have to send, maybe I will send you a clip and you can decide whether you want to put it in or not. But 1,200 fans at the game, an hour early before the game. It was one of the greatest atmospheres I coached in, chanting the whole way through the game.
Yeah.
Against it for sure. Pretty even game in terms of the score, but 13 corners for our team, 1 corner for their team.
Jeez.
1 shot on goal for their team, 8 to 9 shots on goal for our team. They scored off of their corner in the 39th minute, a goal that was a volley, upper 90, 1-0. Second half resulted in quite a few visits from the trainer coming out to the field to get the players, and they filled the game. And 10 minutes of injury time, we couldn't find the goal, and Lask won the league. But I know the experience for the players and myself, other than the loss, was great, and it was a great atmosphere. And it was great for women's football in Austria too, because we played in games there where we only had 15, 20 people at the game. So to have that much energy, to have the men's supporters from Lask to come to the game and smoke and banging the drums and chant. I mean, it was an atmosphere I'll never forget, and great for football in Austria, women's football in Austria.
Gotcha. That just sounds like an amazing experience. Like that's like young coach like me. It's like, oh, I would love to do that. I would love to be there. I'd love to go to Austria and do all of that. So we got 2 things for you, and I don't want to keep you too long, but what was the reason that made you want to come back? I mean, after such a great season, did you not want to stick it out for another full season, or did you just did you miss America? What was it?
Well, I mean, I love America. I'm American. But I do love Austria. I could see myself going back someday. You know, I've got kids here that are, we're in middle school and elementary, and the visa was a problem too.
Gotcha.
So, to get a visa over there and things like that. But no, it was time to come. But it re-energized me, and then to get to go work with Coach Klein, and he's down at Southeast Missouri State, just finished his first season, and I think one of the really good coaches. I had the fortune, he was on staff when I played at Columbia College, so he coached me. I got to coach under him, and it was an amazing experience at Columbia College. Just really re-energized me, and now here I am sitting as the head coach at Stevens College, and couldn't be happier or more proud to be at a college and with what we've got going on, and a chance to have the first winning season in the history of the program next fall, which we're working hard at every day right now here in February.
Hey, it's coming, man. I know it is. If from what I've listened to this last 34 minutes that we've been going, like, you sound like the right guy to do it. So with that, one last thing, just think of college soccer as a big, giant, broad, landscape. What is something that we can do? Because I know that we keep hearing of kids not wanting to go play college, or, oh, I'm going to go play for this ECNL, some ABC league academy that's going to send me pro, blah, 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 all that stuff. What is something that college soccer could do to improve and make it better, or to get more kids maybe interested in wanting to play college soccer?
Yeah, I think my first thought with that, Bridger, I think everybody has to have their own path. First of all, I don't think you have to play ECNL to play at the best, or MLS Next, or you don't to play at the highest levels. I feel I've coached at some of the top schools here in the country, and coached. If you're a good player, you're a good player.
Yeah.
You will be found if you're a good player. One question I get all the time is, well, should I play high school? Should I not play high school? Should I play? I say that it's your path, and you got to do what's best for you. And I know I'll get some club coaches probably sending me some messages too. Our kids shouldn't be playing high school soccer.
Yeah.
I think if you're playing soccer and you're competing and you're enjoying yourself and you're playing for passion, I think that's a great thing, whatever league or whatever level that you're playing in. So that'd be my first thing, and secondly is don't listen to all the noise out there. I think we get caught up so much in what our friends doing or what our parents want us to do, or what. Like, listen to your heart. Maybe Stevens College it's an NAIA program. It's not University of Missouri, SEC, Division I, but maybe that's your perfect fit. Maybe University of Missouri is your perfect fit, but do what's best for you, not just what, all my friends are committing to these type of schools.
Yeah.
And then you go somewhere and you're unhappy or you're not playing. So follow your heart there. What can colleges do? I think is just encouraging players to play. I think college soccer is a grind. It's hard. It's a mental and physical grind. But I think if players come in and colleges set up the environment for the players to compete and have fun and enjoy the experience, and it's easy to sit here in this chair right now and say, take some of that pressure off, because if you see me in the fall, I'm probably the players like, gosh, he's putting so much pressure on me.
Yeah.
But enjoy it, because it's a great 4 years. It is a great 4 years of your life to play college soccer and meet some new teammates and travel the country and be in some environments, win some championships, go through some hard experiences. You learn a lot about yourself over 4 years of college soccer.
Yep.
You know that. You did it.
Yep.
So I think just fostering that environment as college coaches to remember that this isn't what, when I look at our players, there's more to life for them than college soccer.
Yep.
They want to enjoy going to college. I know I enjoyed going to college. I had a really fun time here in Columbia College.
Yep.
In Columbia, Missouri. So enjoy. Let them be people. Let them get their degrees, and certainly push them to get better as athletes and soccer players and competitors.
Love it. Well, Don, thank you so much for doing this, man. Thank you so much for coming on and talking with me and sharing your program. We'll be looking forward to seeing how your girls do next fall.
I appreciate it, Bridger. Next time we'll get on here for Champions League, and we'll break down Bayern Munich, since we both found out earlier today that we're Bayern Munich fans. So we'll break that down in the Champions League.
All right, I'm all for it, man. Well, hey, you have a good rest of your day.
All right, Bridger. Thank you.
Bye. This podcast is brought to you by LP Digital. LP Digital is a locally owned photography and videography business in Columbia, Missouri. It was started by University of Missouri journalism students Isaiah Lopez and Joseph Patton. Their mission is to bring local stories to life through stunning high-quality visuals that fit any budget. Because at LP Digital, everyone deserves to see themselves smile. Whether it's capturing life's biggest moments or telling your unique story, they're here to make it happen. Check them out on Instagram and Facebook at LP Digital 2026 and send them a message to find the perfect price for you.